Coming to you with Footscray 5-7-37, leading by 26 points. The Lions 1-5-11. Wind takes the first touch. Quill out of the centre square for Footscray. Playing in front is Doyle. Couldn't take it. Johnson, star of the first half. Cameron for Footscray, back to 50. Juggling mark by Hargraves.
Yes, he has to do more of this. He's been under the ball a bit today. He's had his chance to take the mark, but he just hasn't been holding him. He got a clip in the jaw in the first quarter, and I think he was a bit starry-eyed there for a while.
Well, he went off the ground for just a short stay on the interchange bench. Tyson Lane came on.
He's all testing this kick.
His goal in the first quarter, so from right on 50, here's a thumping kick. Magnificent kick by Daniel Hargraves. What a start for the Dogs.
Well, Kevin, you wouldn't want to see better than that, a juggling mark, but then to go back and off about 2 paces, slam through a 50-metre kick as straight as an arrow. Now, that's a sign of a youngster who's got a lot of football ahead of him. As you said, I think perhaps with his attitude improving now towards league football, Footscray could have a very, very good forward here.
Well, they're still only a baby, isn't he, Curls?
Yes.
Only 20 years of age.
Yes.
So the lead now out to 32 points. Great start by Footscray in this second half. Scotty Wine doing the ruck work. Off the ground's Romero. Hurried kick in front. And the mark is taken by Steve Collinyook. The change has been made. Chris Johnson now playing at half-back on Collinyook. Maybe trying to get a little pace and run out of the back line there from Chris Johnson. Steve Collinyook, very crowded forward line. And look for the big fella, Grigich, but cut off there by Martin Pike. So pretty ordinary kick there by Steve Collinyook.
Why would you go short to a big lumberer?
Well, you need to get a little bit more height on the kick and give him a run and a jump at it.
Yes.
So Pike has a bounce out of defence, goes direct to centre half forward, but nobody home for Fitzroy. That's an ordinary kick from Martin Pike. And equally ordinary kick there from Steve Prediuk finds the Fitzroy player in Scott Bamford, centre of the ground. So Fitzroy kicking to the Barclay Street end. Bamford taking his time, very crowded Fitzroy forward line. Eventually kicks long, hoping for a high mark and getting it there from John McCarthy. And a few ironic cheers there, girls, from McCarthy, because he's been well beaten by Chris Grant.
Gee, he's up against a champion, and the ball hasn't been coming in too nicely for him, and he's sticking to his guns.
It was a good grab, that. I suppose the conditions a little bit better at the start of this second half. At least the sun's shining and the rain's gone away for the moment. So McCarthy, we'll see what sort of effect the wind has on this kick. A westerly wind here today at the Whitten Oval, just directly across the ground, blowing to the outer side. So McCarthy from 53 metres, that's a pretty good kick from John McCarthy, makes the distance easily. Fitzroy's second goal on the board.
Well, that's 2 great kicks from the centre half forwards in the last couple of minutes, and McCarthy, I know he hasn't been featuring in the game, but that's the first time the ball's come into his position with some method, and I notice he's playing a bit deeper now, and I like that idea because he's going to lead Grant to the ball, and I think that's his best option.
There's a bit of quality opposition there in Scotty Wine, who tried to take the mark, but maybe should have gone for the punch.
Romero out of the centre square, down to 50, bit of pushing and shoving. Worry does well, weaves himself out of trouble, kicks wide. Atkins started in defence. Taken away by Johnson to Kellett in the sand. We lost Slipper in the sand amongst the sandcastles. Kicks back to 50. Hargraves is a star.
Gee, why would Barker leave Hargraves there? Like, your job as a backman is to play tight on your forward, and I think it was young Wirra, wasn't it?
Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf played half-back.
Why would you play away from your man and anticipate the kick?
Well,
play tight.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Kills. He's too dangerous a player. So when he gets the ball, as KB said earlier, he's a thumping kick. He made that, he kicked that goal very easily from 50 metres, that first kick after half-time.
You get the distance here easily.
Oh, easily. He is a thumping kick.
So from right on 50, Daniel Hargraves. The distance is there, not the accuracy. But John Russo was spot on at half-time when we've seen the big goal from Hargraves and also one from McCarthy, that the breeze is across the ground and you can score goals at both ends. 6-8-44, Fitzroy 2-5-17.
Whoops.
And a poor kick out. The free kick goes to Footscray.
There's that kick there from Matthew Dent. Fitzroy player able to get a hand on it, so Scott West takes the resultant free kick. A centering kick looking for Grigich. And over the back there, taking a good solid mark in defence is Martin Pike. He's played a pretty good game for Fitzroy in defence.
That's better.
That is good, and it's good to see Wolf getting some run out of the back line, leaving his opponent there in Hargraves. Away goes Wolf along the member side of the ground. Rowan Smith beats Mickey Dwyer to the ball, and is quite happy to force the ball over the boundary line. So a boundary throw in, just in front of the interchange area.
I can't understand Fitzroy not using their interchange bench. If I can be critical here, they've got Hogg sitting there as well. They're down. They've kicked 17 points to 44. Some fresh legs. Just throw a few things around.
Yeah, you'd be willing to try something at this stage, wouldn't you, Kev? But Matthew Primus winning the free kick out of that ruck duel, getting it off quickly to Brad Boyd. In front is Grant. Couldn't take the mark. Pressure from McCarthy. Doing the roving is Danny Morton. This is a better build-up by Fitzroy. A hurried kick there by Carter. But Mellington playing behind Campbell. A bit of a hurried kick, so you can't be critical there of Mellington because it was really in a direction that no one could be sure of where it was going. Romero couldn't take the mark after that kick from Campbell. Here's Chrissy Johnson down from half-back. He gets a hand pass to Atkins. Atkins a further hand pass to Rombotis. Not a good hand pass. Puts Rombotis under pressure. This way, that way, then the other way. Johnny Rombotis, no one knew where he was going. A hurried left foot kick, a snap at goal, and really, well, he didn't help his teammates here, I don't think, John Rombotis, going this way, that way, then the other way. No one knew where he was going. He's a good young kid, though, Johnny Rombotis. I shouldn't be overcritical of him, but maybe he should just go in a straight line on occasions, Kev.
Well, I also thought, Bernie, that maybe if some of his teammates had have come up from further afield, he wouldn't have had to worry about doing a U-turn as we see the ball just forced over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Golden opportunity missed there by Fitzroy. That was a set-up goal.
It wasn't coming from Chris Johnson, who ran off Collingwood and ran right up the ground, Curl. So, again, the attack coming from half-back.
Footscray by 27 points, Primus. The goal here will be handy for the Lions. Paddling the ball along is Chandler. Liberatore over the top. We've got a ball up, still only 30 metres out from the Lions' goal.
He's a terrific little goal, Brady Chandler, Caper.
I've seen Fitzroy a few times this year, and I think he's been a fair player for him. Trying to burrow in. Speak of the devil, Chandler. This time dispossessed, and we see Griffin there.
They're not out of this game, Fitzroy. They could pinch one here and get a lift just from, in general, from all their players. They're back in the footy match.
It's good to see young Griffin on the ground, just playing his 4th game for the year. Best first-year player last year for Footscray. Morton over the ball.
Footscray making it very difficult, of course, with packing that defensive area. There's not many players ahead of centre, and they've got their numbers back.
Red Allen, you see there, as one of the umpires, number 10, replaced Hayden Kennedy before the game. Crashing his way through his Doyle. Out wide, Bamford. 35 metres out. He's kicked it out on the full.
I think he tried to turn the ball, but he just didn't quite hit it in the right spot.
Yeah, maybe the percentage play there, Kills, as a centering kick.
Centre the ball.
Absolutely. So the free kick to be taken in the back pocket for Footscray by Rowan Smith. Not messing around as Rowan Smith. When you can kick that distance, why not go long? A long kick there, and a good mark at the back by Johnny Barker for Fitzroy. He's been a solid player, Johnny Barker, this year for the Lions.
Is that wind down? No, it's not wind.
The kick into the forward area. Campbell gets the fist to the ball. Here's Martin Pike up from half-back. Dead also up from the back line. So Fitzroy doing a lot of the attack from the full-back and the half-back line areas. Stevie Wallace is tied up there by Mickey Dwyer. The Fitzroy crowd screaming for a free kick.
Of course, there was no free kick there. Stevie Wallace has to have some opportunity to get rid of the ball before it can be deemed in possession.
No doubt about that, K-Booth. So the tap out comes to Simon Atkins. Out in front of the EJ Wooden stand. Atkins on his left boot. The centering kick, a good kick there by Atkins. And here's a chance for the Lions. Johnny Rombotis misses to the right. So a better build-up by the Lions. At least they're showing a lot more endeavour in this half, girls.
They're having a real go, and that was a beautiful read by young Rombotis off the pack, and just didn't quite turn the ball enough. Those little opportunities have to be taken by scouters.
Absolutely.
Bulldogs by 26 points. 6-8-44. Fitzroy 2-6-18. Daniel Hargraves, the only multiple goal kicker with 2 for Footscray. Campbell kicks out wide. High fly was McCarthy. Liberatore at ground level. Pounced on it. Kicks wide. It's a poor kick. Sets up Dent. So the ex-Sturt player. Pretty handy player, I think, for Fitzroy. Dent finds Nick Carter. Spent a little bit of time on the interchange bench. Going to player with a future. Primus, no opposition. Quick hands, gets it across the Boyd, inside 50. Mellington's the target. Mellington's off, he's got a chance. Great smother by Rowan Smith. Forces it wide. Rombotis got Wallace to beat. The veteran ties it up.
That's a game, Ken. We just see the opportunities that the Fitzroy boys are not taking up in front of goal. And with the ball drawing out of it, that they're making their presence felt.
Well, the Lions have gone up a cog. Wind down to Wallace. Good smother off the boot by Peter Doyle. So still a chance for Fitzroy inside their 50.
I saw a football game turn around yesterday just by a few players lifting, and that's all it needs now with Fitzroy.
44 plays 18. Footscray leads. Primus pushing and shoving with Wind. Once more ball up inside 50.
It's the margin the same as it was at half-time. 26 points in favour of Footscray. 6-8 plays 2-6. Primus and Wind going at it again. Primus wins it down to Chandler. Doyle, the hurried hand pass. Gordon, was he held on to? Looked like he was, but the umpire says play on. This is Bamford. So good play at the moment here by Fitzroy, keeping the ball in their forward attacking zone. Not able to take the mark there was Stevie Wallace, and high tackle maybe by Mellington. No, the umpire, I think, will come in and ball this one up.
Let's go down to John Russo on the boundary line. John, can you notice that Fitzroy have gone up a cog, maybe a bit desperate?
Yeah, I think the tempo has picked up a bit, KB. And as Phil mentioned,
great snap out of the ruck work there by Matthew Primus, but touched off the boot. So only a point.
Back to you, John.
On the board to Fitzroy. Johnny?
As Curl mentioned a moment ago, Fitzroy really aren't out of this game. If they can pick up a couple of quick goals, given that the day seems to be improving a little and conditions aren't getting any worse, then they can certainly pull this one off.
That's a big call, Johnny.
Oh, no, never give up, Bernie, never give up.
All right, Tony Campbell bring the ball back into play for Footscray, straight down the middle of the ground, looking for Scotty Wind. The thump away there from Dent, good disciplined play, and tied up once again. So the umpire will come in and ball this one up.
There's a bit more spark about Fitzroy at the moment. Their players are more alert, they're more enthusiastic.
When you consider, Curls, that two of Footscray's goals in the first half came from incidents off the play.
Yes.
It's very disappointing. They could be a lot closer. This is Dent leading in the race for the ball. Scotty West putting on the pressure. Chandler couldn't handle that ball. Liberatore, terrific play by Liberatore, getting his body in as he always does. Quill over the top to Ramiro. Here's the runner, Johnson. He's a terrific player, young Brad Johnson. Not a great kick there on the left boot that time. And Chris Johnson doing some terrific work also in defence for the Lions. Steve Collignor, ball spills to the ground. Attempted kick-off by Atkins. Doyle, long hand pass, finds Dent, and Fitzroy out of trouble here. Not a good hand pass though by Dent, looking for Carter. He butters up and gives it off to the skipper, Brad Boyd, who kicks very wide into the forward line. Not a good kick there by Brad Boyd, but it's worked out okay for the Lions as it spills to Danny Morton. Runs inside the 50 on his right boot. The long kick into the forward line, and good defensive work by Steve Wallace to thump that ball through. Or is it out of bounds? Out of bounds it is in that forward pocket for the Lions. But excellent work there, KB.
In fact,
there's a point. There's a point.
That's one of the good things, John Russo on the boundary line, that the umpires these days, whether they be boundary umpires, field umpires, confirm and decide what the score is.
Yeah, the emphasis now, KB, is if you want to have a chat about it to get it right, then you're allowed to do so, and that was a perfect example.
I think that's a great innovation for the umpires. As you see Footscray come forward, Hargraves, half-forward flank, traps it. Collienook has had a very good game. Fixed the ball over the line, it was touched, so it's a boundary throw-in.
A bit of spirit being shown there by Chris Johnson.
Yes, but just get on with the game now, forget about that. They've got to concentrate on playing footy, Fitzroy. They don't want to get involved in any off-the-ball physical stuff.
Bulldogs lead by 24 points. Collienook too good for Atkins in the first half. Now he's got Johnson. Trying to crash his way through was Cameron. Wallace. To centre half forward, a terrific mark taken by Nick Carter.
Oh, that was a great mark, KB.
Just don't want to overuse the ball, Fitzroy. Worry. Boyd. Bit of run out of defence. Boyd set up. He's got Atkins wide. Great interception by Crediuk. You can set it up here for Fitzroy, for Footscray, but good anticipation by young Wolf. So a wasted opportunity that time by the Bulldogs. Carter breaks wide. And if Fitzroy can just get another goal, Their spirits are going to really soar. This will put his teammate under a lot of pressure. Needs a good bounce. Oh, free kick in the back. Silly play by Hargraves.
Yeah, no doubt, KB.
He could have just sweated on young Wharf that time. So maybe a bit over-enthusiastic. Wharf kicks down, fist away by Wallace, ground level. Ramiro beaten by Liberatore. Wild hand pass out towards Chandler. Is bowled over. Ramiro runs into his teammate and Quill. So the cohesion's not quite there for Footscray in this third term. Now a chance. Cameron with great vision to Collingwood. Should kick Footscray's. Goes over the top to Watts. Unselfish play.
Yes, that's the one they needed to break that challenge by Fitzroy. Fitzroy were challenging very hard, but it's amazing you can have the ball down your end for quite some time and not score, and the opposition will rebound and get one on you.
It was against the flow of the play, actually.
It was.
Well, they did their best to mess that one up, Footscray, with Quill getting in the way of Ramiro. He had a clean run towards the Footscray goal, and Peter Quill just chipped in there and held up play there for a minute.
Good vision by Cameron and a beautiful handball.
Been a couple of changes down on the boundary line. Let's go down to John Russo.
Jason Baldwin's just come back on, KB, so I don't think he was injured. I think he was just off to have a bit of a breather and maybe a chat to the coach, but he's back on the ground now.
And it's Fitzroy out of the centre, but held up at half-back by Chris Grant, taking the chest mark out in front of John McCarthy.
Yeah, McCartney once again had him up too early. And he was in position, Grant.
Yeah, I suppose playing in front on a day like this, you get all the advantages, don't you, Curls?
Sure do.
Rigic couldn't take the mark. A hurried kick. I think that should be a free kick. Was it in the back? No, says the umpire. Play on. And Baldwin can't believe it. Ramiro gets a kick into the forward line. This is Jason Watt down in front of Dent, who has now gone back to full back with Jason Watts playing at full forward again. John Barker from half back. A long relieving kick for the Lions out to that outer wing. Bamford and Callett have been on each other all afternoon. Callett with a job on Bamford. And happy to see that ball run over the boundary line. So really Bamford, he's been pretty good for a first-year player. And I think Terry Wallace realised the danger there and has put Nigel Callett to go with him all afternoon.
Well, he's played every game for Fitzroy, former North Adelaide player. He has been one of the finds of the season and looks certain to be picked up by the Brisbane Lions. Chandler caught high by West. Stacks on the mill. We've got a ball up on the half-forward flank for Fitzroy.
Just can't put that extra bit of play together, Fitzroy. They can finish off their work.
Footscray lead by 30 points. Chandler to Boyd. Can he set it up? Short to Atkins. McCarthy wants it wide.
Hard to score out there, KB. They're out the dead pocket into the breeze now.
So Atkins, who knows this ground so well, 127 games for Footscray. Playing against his old side today. Kicks high. Been marked by Ricky. It's got Wallace loose. And Liberatore, they can raffle it. Wallace down from the back pocket, kicks wide, looking for Tyson Lane, who spent most of the day on the interchange bench and forced over by Carter. Tyson Lane on screen. Fine young player, he's had a number of injuries, just playing his second game. He was a Norwich Rising Star nomination last year before being injured. So Footscray lead by 30 points.
This is Crediuk doing the defensive work for the Bulldogs. Some good pressure, and Crediuk, with the pressure there coming from Martin Pike, kicks the ball out on the full. So the free kick to be taken by Nick Carter. Carter centre wing, member side of the ground, kicks long into the Fitzroy forward area. Primus and Grigic is now doing the ruck work, fighting this out. Rowan Smith with a relieving kick around the member side of the ground. Rowan Smith. The big fellow in front is Luke Darcy, spoilt there by John Barker. Spills to the ground, and a good mark. No, not a mark taken by Bamford, almost. This is a much better effort by Fitzroy in this third quarter. Here it goes, Bamford. The runner in this Fitzroy side goes directly towards goal. There's no one home. This one could bounce through, but no. It just misses to the left. But much better play by Fitzroy in this term, KB, with just under 6 minutes remaining on the clock.
Let's go to John Russo on the boundary line. Fitzroy about to make a change.
Yes, Jeff Hogg's coming on, KB, so it's the first time he's been on for the game, as you mentioned earlier. A bit surprising that he hasn't had an opportunity up until now.
And Marty Worry is also on the interchange bench. He came to the side to replace Stephen Paxman. He hasn't had a run yet either.
That's right.
So Fitzroy have had a lot of the play in this third term, but Not a lot to show on the scoreboard. Grant. He's had a magnificent season. Kicks inside 50. Hargraves is in his sights. Couldn't take it. So Fitzroy defence. Standing up. Just bombed the ball out. Keller, terrific mark over the top. Off and running. Kicks back. And finds Tyson Lane.
The problem with this is that Footscray are reading up their time, and they're running out of time, Fitzroy.
So Lane a bit slow to react. He had two loose players. Johnson for Footscray at ground level. Doyle. Kick's been smothered. Chance for Hargraves. He's booted two. Lost his footing. Collingwood goes to the ground. Pike's ferocious. Carter gets it back to Wharf. He's actually had a better third term, Rowan Wharf, after Hargraves kicked an early goal. There is on screen number 33.
With the pattern of play going as if Fitzroy have scored 2 goals in 2.5 quarters, they've got to score about another, say, 7 in 1.5 to win the footy match.
We've seen that happen before, Curls. It's a funny game, football.
Well, I saw it happen yesterday at Geelong.
So Pike hurried kick on his left foot around the boundary line. Primus and Grigich. Good play by Grigich. Defensive work to force that ball over the boundary line.
Primus, of course, now has got extra height against him again with Grigich, with Wine resting for a while.
And that was one of the problems last year I had, Curls. We really only had the one ruckman. And when a side like Footscray brings the big bloke on Grigich, a fresh man on, it makes it very difficult for the one ruckman to go all day. The boundary throw in, but Primus gets this one down to Pike. Attempted kick by Pike. Liberatore. Hurried handball to no one in particular. Morton out in front. A good shepherd there by Rombottis. Terrific work by John Rombottis. Gets it over to Jason Baldwin on his left side. A little bit too slow to get rid of the ball there, Jason Baldwin. And Mickey Dwyer caught there by good work by Rowan Smith. Chris Grant will force the ball over the boundary line. There's a player there in trouble. It's Crediuk limping for Footscray. He may have just got a knock on that left knee. He's had a lot of hamstring problems in the past, Steve Crediuk. Let's hope it's not further problems there.
Yeah, we're on the ground now.
The boundary throw-in. Primus and Grigich. Neither player gets a hand with the ball. Liberatore in front of Chandler. Good pressure. Hand pass out of the pack there by Cameron. Liberatore, Jose Romero in front, run down by Bamford. Looked a little bit like it could have been in the back. Cameron following up. Terrific work by Cameron. This time kicks on the right boot. And that is a very good mark by Steve Collingwood in front of Chris Johnson. Not easy, that mark, because the sun makes it difficult here at the Whitten Oval. A short kick on. Romero, who's run up the ground, can give it over. He doesn't worry about getting it to Lane. Goes long into that forward area. Johnson over the top, couldn't take the mark. Brad Johnson. Pressure there by Dent. And better be careful. Sometimes the umpires see that as in the back, KB, when they fall in the back like that.
That was a great mark by Collingwood. They used his body beautifully in front of young Johnson. It's great to see small players use that body to take a big, strong mark.
Well, in his third season of league football, Brad Johnson, and it's one of the young guns, the Whitten Oval. Darcy. He's given away the free kick.
How do you work those out, KB?
I can't work
How do you work those out?
He's caught the ball in both hands.
We'll go down and ask John Russo. What did you think about that one, John?
Too far
You've
away.
got to be joking, KB. It's about 200 metres from where I am.
Well, that's where umpires generally umpire from.
No, I normally umpire from about 180.
Come on, Johnny, just once in your life, knock the umpires.
Chance for Footscray. Wallace is desperate. The veteran. So we've got a ball up. Half forward flank for Footscray.
Alan McConnell just, you can't question the boys' endeavour, the Fitzroy boys. They're just lacking that little bit of class to finish off.
Bombotus gets around Crediuk. Ramiro, the tackler. Boyd has picked up a lot of possessions. That's number 22 to Pike. He's got a chance to kick the ball long. McCarthy's his target. Big hand of Grant, kicked off the ground by Campbell. Grant will be happy to run this over.
Yeah, nice work. Clever football by Grant.
So 2.5 minutes to go in this third term. Fitzroy 2.9.21, Footscray 7.8.50. So for all of their hard work, Fitzroy's just kicked the one goal, Footscray 2. Boyd driven into the ground. The ball is forced over by Morton.
I like the way the umpires are umpiring the game today. They're not over-umpiring it. They're letting the little tingy ones go, and I think they're doing a good job.
Footscray by 29 points. Time clock ticking down. Ilya Grikic versus Primus. Here the ruckman got their hands to the ball. And once more we've got a ball up, but just 35 metres out from the Lions' goal.
This is what Footscray are doing very successfully, that they're not allowing the Fitzroy forward line to be open and free. They're getting back there in numbers and clogging it up.
So the ruck work there done again by Primus. He's had a big afternoon, rucked all afternoon for the Lions. Scotty West gets a handball away, taken for the Bulldogs by Brad Guerra. Gets a hand pass to the running fullback in Tony Campbell, down on centre wing. Here's the kick into the forward line. Colonyuk in front, pressured there by Chris Johnson, his opponent. Wharf tidies up for the Lions at half-back and finds Atkins unattended in the middle of the ground. So under 2 minutes remaining. Can the Lions get another goal? Jeff Hogg, who's only been on the ground for about the last 5 minutes, takes the mark for Fitzroy about 60 metres from goal. They need to get this moving pretty quickly. There's a long kick by Jeff Hogg. High and hoping, really. That's about all they're doing at the moment into that forward line because it's pretty crowded. There's a hand pass out to Danny Morton, and Fitzroy has their third goal on the board.
Beautiful kick handball around Dwyer. The situation there was when Campbell came down to support the running move of Footscray and kick long. He was far too slow in getting back, and we saw Hogg on his own receive the ball unattended, and Campbell was just waltzing back into his position.
And Footscray have made a change. Johnny Russo down on the interchange bench.
Yeah, Steve Krediuk's come off with that bad knee, and he's certainly having some trouble with it now. The physio's having a look at it, so he may not take further part in the game.
You're still tipping Fitzroy to win this?
You'd never give up, KB. As an umpire, I never got a kick, but I was always trying.
Footscray by 23 points. They led by 26 points at half-time. So this time the ball is thrown up by umpire Sam Cronje.
Now, Primus is sort of appealing for a free kick. I don't think he's got any right at all. If anything, he blocked the Footscray boys. He's blocking again. So you can't stand back and block.
Well, the interpretation this year should be that it'll be a free kick to the other ruckman.
Exactly. Exactly.
So a bit of heavy work used by Martin Pike. Cameron kicks it off the ground. Does well. Use the body against Johnson. Johnson recovers. Colonyuk at the base of the pack. Players are a bit tired now. Conditions that make the legs pretty weary.
Yes, Fitzroy just not able to seem to be able to put that extra goal on top of the one they kick. They allow Fitzroy, don't allow Footscray just fight back and just edge ahead again.
So the ball up with 17 seconds remaining on the clock, taken by Doyle. A good smother there. Martin Pike backing up for Fitzroy. Really very, very difficult to control this ball here at the Whitten Oval this afternoon. Counting down, and I think the siren will beat this ball up with 1 second remaining. There it is, and the three-quarter time score at the Whitten Oval sees Footscray 7-8-50, leading Fitzroy 3-9-27. So a terrific quarter there really by Fitzroy. They narrowed the margin, which was 26 points at half-time, down to 23 points at three-quarter time. They've won the quarter, and I suppose that's all you can really ask for, girls, in this sort of situation. Ask them to come out and play with a bit of pride in that third quarter.
Well, they certainly did that. Their application is very, very good. You know, their commitment's good. They're very enthusiastic, but they're just lacking that little bit of class that can finish off their work from midfield. And Fitzroy just struggling in that department. And Footscray have just got that edge on them all day, and you know, I can't see Fitzroy winning, but what we're hoping for, of course, they'll take the game right from Footscray.
Alan McConnell on screen, the Fitzroy coach, yet to post a win as coach of Fitzroy. Took over from co-commentator Bernie Quinlan last year, and this year has taken over from Mick Noonan, so he'll be looking for this a big last quarter. Footscray at three-quarter time, 7-8-50, lead by 23 points. Fitzroy 3-9.